Hey, how you doing, basketball fans, fantasy freaks, our homies, our friends? It is Rick Kamla. It is Hall of Famer Steve Alexander, a.k.a. Dr. A. And for a lot of people, the fantasy playoffs are going on. I've got a league. Playoffs are starting. Two leagues where the playoffs are starting. So look alive. You may be in a playoff game right now and you don't even know it. Before we get to Doc and before we start looking ahead to Tuesday night slate, I want to tell you about our sponsor, Bet Online. They are the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, it's all good. Bet Online is your ultimate game day companion. Take them with you everywhere on your phone through the app. They have the largest selection of odds and everything from the NBA and college basketball, the NHL, UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every play, every game, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Doc, get us going here, man. Your top 5 streaming options for Tuesday night in the NBA.
Well, I don't know if Bull still counts as a streamer or not. I don't know what his rostership is at, but he's still doing it. He's still starting for the Suns. He's still producing for the Suns. He hasn't been incredible his last few games, but he's been serviceable. And I think as long as he's starting for the Suns, I'm good with Bull. We've got an injury. I'm going to get this guy. Cole Anthony with Jalen Suggs out for the year. Is he out for the year? I feel like he's out for the year. He had surgery, right? Cole Anthony is the point guard in Orlando. So I think Cole Anthony is, as much as we don't really trust him, he's going to play, and he should play a lot the rest of the way. So I think Cole Anthony's a real good pickup right now. Ty Jerome, Cleveland Cavaliers. I feel like we talk about him all the time. He's not rostered in enough leagues. He balled out on Saturday or Sunday, one of those two long distant memories of days. Had a big game and plays a big role off that Cavs bench. I think he's their better sixth man than DeAndre Hunter at this point. Quentin Grimes, Paul George was out on Monday. Paul George is going to miss games down the stretch for those, I think, tanking 76ers. And then Andre Drummond blew up for his best game of the year on Monday night. No Joel Embiid. He's shut down for the year. Yabu Staley's been struggling of late. And suddenly Andre Drummond is doing it. Now, he's like 40 years old. I don't know how long they're going to keep playing him big minutes. But as of right this second, Drummond looks like a pretty good pickup. And then our guy, Bub Carrington, getting minutes, getting run, doing some decent things in Washington. I always like him as a streamer. His teammate, Keyshawn George, wasn't great on Monday, but he's been playing well and getting a lot of minutes. I think he got 32 minutes on Monday. He should play a lot of minutes on Tuesday. And then I keep going back to Bogey Bogdanovic, who you may have on your list. Do you have Bogey on your list?
I do not.
But Bogey's playing meaningful minutes right now. And I kind of like the direction that he is heading in.
I had Bogey on the waiver wire article that's going to be on sportsethos.com probably tomorrow at some point. I should say Tuesday at some point. Maybe it'll hit on Wednesday. But I had him in there, and Doc, I don't know, man, because I feel like it's very Norman Powell related here. Coffee and Batum, and they just have so many guys. So I'm soft on that. I'm soft on Bogey right now.
Well, we know
Doc.
Norman Powell is out on Tuesday, so I think that's a good opportunity for a Bogey game.
I was kind of looking more big picture with that comment, but you're absolutely right. Look, I mean, you're going down a good road here. Bogey's going to be 12 to 15 points, right? I don't know. You know what I mean, Doc? sometimes we just get like stale on a guy, right? And coming into this season, I was high on Bogey, and it's like all year I've just been like anesthetized by Bogey. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I Bull on my list, Doc. He's 34% rostered. So, I mean, we consider him give me a break, right? How's he not 74% rostered? It's kind of crazy. But I Bull. Chris Dunn. Doc, Andre Lemouche has won me over. He won me over on Dayron Sharp. Okay. He's always been like, trying to get me to talk about Dayron Sharp, and I'm awake. Okay, Chris Dunn, dude, these numbers, I'm telling you, man, he is at over the last month. Okay, we talk about Keon Ellis, right, and the threes, the blocks, the steals, and not a great PRA guy. Chris Dunn's kind of the same guy over the last month. Although his PRA, frankly, I think I'd rather have Chris Dunn than Keon Ellis. Don't tell Brew I said that. But Chris Dunn over the last month, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. All right, obviously not great. But Keon Ellis isn't 7, 5, and 4. He's averaging 2.9 steals per game over the last month, Doc. That's Dyson Daniels-esque, who won a game on Monday night with a steal and a hit ahead to Karis LeVert. What a damn play that was. That was a defensive player of the year play, Doc, but we'll get more into that. And then over the stretch, Doc, he's at 1-3 and 0.4 blocks. But, dude, you know how rare that steals category is, man? He's giving you 5 boards. That's plus for a point guard. He's giving you 4 assists, which is light, but at least it's helpful. But 3 steals per game. So I got Chris Dunn on my list. Stephon Castle. Doc, I got a stat for you. The last 9 games where Stephon Castle has played 30-plus minutes, he has 20 points in 8 of them. 8 of 9, 20-plus points when he plays 30 minutes. Love him as we're doing streamers here. As a streamer, he's a roster guy. Dunn's more of a streamer. Bull's a roster guy. Castle's a roster guy. I have Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter written down here, Doc, because it's Chicago. It's probably going to be a blowout, and the bench players then will play a little bit more. And I got another one for you, Doc, and this is a guy we haven't really talked about, but he is now on my radar, and I am ready to bring him to the masses. Gary Trent Jr., especially with Kyle Kuzma doubtful for this game with a ankle injury. Gary Trent Jr., last game, 20 points, 4 threes. Game before that, 15. He's the game before that, 5, then a 16. Let me look at the averages here. Over the last, let's look at a 2-week sample. 12 points, 3 boards, 0.7 steals, 1.8 threes. Actually, that kind of sucks. But with Kyle Kuzma out, I think there might be a little uptick. I thought the overall numbers are going to be a little bit better there from Gary Trent Jr. But I offer him up as a streamer on Tuesday night, Doc.
Yeah, I love the Chris Dunn call. I've got him coming up in another show, because he's playing well. Those steals, man, it's Dyson Daniels Jr. And that's big stuff. And then another guy, I don't know, does Memphis play? Memphis played on Monday. Do they play on Tuesday?
They don't have a back-to-back.
Nope. All right, well, Jaren Jackson Jr. got hurt against the Hawks on Monday. So it's Santi Aldama time if Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to miss time. So that's just another guy, another name to keep an eye on.
All right, dude, that is Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. I'm Rick Kamla. Let's get into top 3 situations or players to watch heading into Tuesday night. And the slate of games, guys, it's Houston, Indiana, Toronto, Orlando, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Golden State, New York. Yep, Steph at the Garden. Cleveland at Chicago, Philly at Minnesota, Brooklyn at San Antonio, Clippers at Suns, Pels at Lakers. 3 situations or players to watch. Doc?
Well, we got to see if Steph Curry's going to play on Tuesday. He sprained his ankle, and he's hoping to play on Tuesday. So Steph Curry, if he doesn't play, I want to see who steps up in his absence. Brandon Podziemski's been kind of good lately, and is another guy that if Curry's out, I think I want Pajemski in my lineups because he's going to play point guard. So I like that one. We had a Duop Reith sighting, Rick, finally. Where has this guy been all year? They need center help. Klingon is just still just putzing along. It's so he was good. He had 13 and 13 with 3 blocks on Monday, but Duop Reith got 18 minutes, had 13 points, 5 boards, a steal, and 2 blocks. If Duop Reith is going to play 20 minutes a night and you're in a deep league and your waiver wire is bare, Duop Reith is a guy who can help you. The only problem is he doesn't play. And I kind of want to watch Tuesday night and see if Duop Reith gets minutes and breaks this trend of just not playing enough minutes to even have a glimmer of fantasy hope. So we have a Duop Reith sighting. If he does it again on Tuesday, I think he's a guy that's going to quickly become kind of a hot pickup. And then LaMelo Ball is going to be asked to go out there again on Tuesday night, and I don't know if he can do it. So I want to see, is he playing? And if he doesn't play, can KJ Simpson keep it going?
Bunch of great things to look for, bro. I am watching for these things, Doc. Philadelphia. Tyrese Maxey left this Monday night's game with a back injury. Philadelphia is at Minnesota. Second of a back-to-back. They're probably about to enter a tank for draft pick. For a draft pick, not for Cooper Flag. They want to be in the bottom 6. It's a different tank. But still, I mean, arguably it's more worth tanking for that than it is for Cooper Flag, because you don't know that you're going to get Cooper Flag, but you know that if you stay in the bottom 6, if you're Philadelphia, that you keep your pick. Otherwise, it goes to Oklahoma City. So that is a very, very worthy tank. It's like Dallas's tank for Derek Lively, which got them fine. But Paul George and Kelly Oubre, Doc, did not play on Monday. George was some damn injury, and I think Oubre was an illness, right? So were they held out, precaution, back-to-back scenario? Oubre to me just was ill, because that guy plays. He plays back-to-backs. He plays all the damn time. So I want to see that, right? Because it has all the ripple effects to Quentin Grimes and a bunch of other guys on the roster. Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. Doc, we those of us that manage Austin Reeves, I think we caught a break. Okay. Obviously, seeing what happened to Kyrie Irving on Monday night, that looks not good. Okay. Domantas Sabonis out indefinitely, but we got a good report on Reeves. The MRI showed nothing serious. He's day to day. I doubt he'll play in this game, but he's questionable. Rui Hachimura is questionable. It's a home game against New Orleans. I want to see if the Lakers are going to get their core 4 back. And then, Doc, I want to bring up a guy that I'm a big fan of, and I want to bring up a guy that you want to get out of the way in Minnesota. His name is Julius Randle. Doc, your guy came back to work the other night, Sunday against Phoenix, and played well. He had 20.6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 threes. Julius Randle stat line. It was a buzzkill for Jalen Clark. It was a buzzkill for Terrence Shannon Jr. And obviously neither Naz Reid nor Jaden McDaniels played well in that game. So it was like boosh, dropping the whale in the swimming pool, as I like to say. So I want to see how this goes, right? Because Naz Reid should be able to get busy with Randall, because you're filling in for Rudy Gobert. Jaden McDaniels, to me, is the guy that should take the stat hit with Randall back, because I felt like Jaden McDaniels' spike and pop directly coincided with Julius Randle going out, Doc.
Whale in the swimming pool. I like it, because that's what Julius Randle is. Like, you drop him in there and he just crowds everybody, and he makes everybody on his team worse, I feel like, which is sad. I hate that, but it's just sort of how it is. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Naz Reid, who has been on fire, as on fire as anyone in the league, really, And then he has a quiet game when Julius Randle's back because there's a whale in our swimming pool and there's no room for us to go swimming. So I do think Nas Reed is going to take a hit. I agree with you. I think Jaden McDaniels may take a bigger hit. But, man, Nas Reed was just balling. And he'll still have good games. I'm not dropping Nas Reed, but it's kind of a buzzkill. That Julius Randle's back, I think everyone who plays fantasy and maybe anyone who's a Wolves fan was happy when he was out. It's weird. It's weird that he's that good of a player, yet he's viewed so negatively.
Yeah, I mean, he's accomplished. He's an award winner. He's a multiple-time All-Star. He's a guy that flirts with 20, 10, and 5 every night, and yet gets no respect, man. I will admit he's like the power forward version of DeMar DeRozan. He's not an easy fit into a team, right? Because DeMar DeRozan's not a floor spacer. He's a mid-range guy, so that's not an easy piece to make it all fit with. And Julius Randle's that guy from that power forward position. It's kind of like a point guard that can't shoot. It's like, dude, what do I do with you? You got to be able to shoot a little bit at the point guard spot. All right, let's get into top 3 risers, Doc, heading into Tuesday night. Top 3 risers.
Well, maybe I'm biased because I have him starting for my 30 deep team in the playoffs. Me, you, Brewski, my guy Andre from ESPN, Mike Passador. We all made the playoffs. There's not that many teams to make the playoffs, but I feel like I'm pretty connected to 6 of the 8 or however many of us made it. Drummond, I already talked about a little bit, but he had 25 points, 18 boards, and 2 steals on Monday night. Played 29 minutes. We know we're not going to see any more Joel Embiid. Paul George was out with groin soreness. That's like looking at the magic 8 ball. Like, which injury is going to end Paul George's season? And it comes up and says perhaps groin, and I'm like, that sounds good. I mean, groin or back would be my top 2 choices there. So I'll take groin. Paul George may play on Tuesday in the back-to-back, but, if George is out and Joel Embiid are out and Andre Drummond, if they're going to let him play, even though he's an old man, he's going to put up numbers. So I really like that. And then Quentin Grimes had 14.6 boards, 9 assists on Monday. Over the weekend, he blew up for a 44-point explosion. And that all ties back in. Let's look at the moves Nico Harrison's last 3 big moves. He gives Luka Doncic away in the most controversial trade in NBA history. He trades Quentin Grimes for nothing, and Quentin Grimes is balling out in Philly and is going to continue to ball out as long as Paul George isn't playing. And then, he didn't re-sign Jalen Brunson, who is now tearing it up as an all-star for the Knicks. So good job, Nico. Well done. Oh, and then the Mavericks raised their ticket prices by 8% today, sending fans down another rabbit hole of fury and anger. It's so bad. So there's those 2 guys. And then another riser. I feel like as long as Domantas Sabonis is out, you might want some shares of Jonas Valanciunas.
I like it, dude. I got to come to Nico's defense a little bit. The Jalen Brunson thing, as he has told, was completely bumbled by Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban still had a ton, if not the most, player personnel control. Look, I'll throw Nico Harrison under the bus like the rest of you. But I think it's a little bit more complicated. Fire Nico. I mean, think about it, dude. Do you think Nico Harrison just traded Luka? No, the Dumont family wanted him out. That asshat Patrick Dumont talking about He's not like Shaq, one of the great conditioned players. Bro, are you serious? You just put your foot in your mouth in front of God and everybody. All right, it is Rick Kamla. It is Steve Alexander, Hall of Famer. We have Andre Lemouche with us as well. And all of you, what's up? We are previewing Tuesday night in the NBA. 3 risers for Milwaukee. Tyrese Halliburton. Doc, did you know? Fantasy freaks, did you know? Over the last week of basketball, the number 1 fantasy basketball player is Tyrese Halliburton. Number 1. Okay. He's at 22 points, 3 boards, 12 assists. Golly, I can't read that number. 3.3 steals, 4.3 threes, 7.6 combined steals and threes. My God. What's with these guys in 3 steals a game this year, by the way? And then 62% from the field. Scorching. All right. Absolutely sizzling hot. It's really hurting Pascal Siakam. He had a big game recently, but look at the game log. Before that, I was like, bro, where's your game? But the surge of Halliburton has not had good effects on Siakam. It is what it is. Number 2, biggest riser for me, Doc. And I'm going to call him your guy, but, he's my guy. I had a debate with Jerry Stackhouse at NBA TV about Dante DiVincenzo after he won MOP of the tournament. And I was talking with Stack. I'm like, Stack, you like Dante DiVincenzo? He's like, nah. I'm like, what are you talking about? This guy can really play. He gets off the floor. He makes shots. He's got it factor. He's like, I'm not really feeling it. So I'll never forget that conversation of like, here's Dante, he's a champion, and Doc, he's killing it, okay? Dante DiVincenzo, over the last week, the number 7 fantasy basketball player. By the way, these numbers were, I did the work during Monday night's game, so basically coming into Monday night. Dante was 7th in fantasy basketball, okay? Going 15, 5 and 4 PRA, 3 steals, 5 threes per game. 8 goodies in the 3 and steal categories combined. And then number 3, Doc, and this isn't necessarily like, stat driven and ranking driven. It's just overall driven. Ahmed Thompson, because Fred VanVleet came back and then immediately went back out with the same injury, right? Freddie V's going to be missing some time here to get that right. They're always more cautious the second time you so Ahmed Thompson's going to be back at the point. We're going to see some triple doubles now from Ahmed Thompson. He'll have like the 13, 11, and 12 type of stat lines, man. So those are my risers.
And
Doc,
a couple other guys, just while we're talking about studs who are not available in your league but are rising. My guy Josh Giddey has just been sick over the last 2 weeks, like top 5 fantasy basketball player. And then Jalen Williams has had a big weekend. He had another good game on Monday. Jalen Williams, did I say Josh? Jalen Williams of the Thunder is kind of balling again. My guy.
All right, get into some fallers. I think I went out of order here a little bit. Who cares? Let's do some fallers here, Doc. Top 3 going into Tuesday night.
Moses Moody is just not getting it done as a starter in Golden State. I think Steve Kerr's given him every opportunity. And every time I look at his stat line, it's like 8 points, 6 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. It's just a bunch of nothing. Brandon Podziemski's coming on. Buddy Hield played well on Monday. Steph's out there getting it done. Moses Moody just has not lived up to the hype. I was all in on him. Steve Kerr was like, I'm starting him. He's earned it. He's going to start the rest of the way. I'm in. But it just hasn't been very good. So I'm kind of down on Moses Moody. I'm always down on Paul George. I've got Paul George in my rock and roll league. Brian Rosenworcel, my good friend from Guster, texted me this morning. He's like, dude, I need you to win your game this week. I need you to do this. It'll put me in the playoffs if you win. So I need all hands on deck from your squad. And then Paul George gets ruled out immediately. And of course, I have Paul George on that team, which is part of the reason my team sucks. So Paul George was out with groin soreness. We talked about that. I feel like the shutdown for Paul George is coming any day now. The clock, he's like a ticking time bomb. So I don't know if your trade deadline is passed or if you can still move him. Probably not, but I expect that is coming at some point. And then Precious Achua in New York was kind of hot for a minute. And then Karl Anthony Towns was hurt. OG Anunoby was hurt. But those guys are back. And now Precious Achua is kind of back to being Precious Achua again. And I think he was probably picked up a lot when Cat sprained his ankle and went down. And when Anunoby was out, people were probably rolling with Achua, but I feel like that ship has sailed.
It most certainly has. Some fallers for me, Doc. Going into Tuesday night's work, we talked about this a little bit. Jaden McDaniels. Yeah, I mean, he's been awesome. Try to sell high with him right now if you've got a little bit of wiggle room before the trade deadline. Some may have passed, some may still have an extended trade deadline. Try to trade Jaden McDaniels for the next 2 days, right? Because even if he has another, you look at the game log, it still looks pretty darn good, and it's still connected to what we're doing right now. Doc, Jordan Poole, okay? Because, okay, what are we doing here? Has he been shut down? Or does he just have this little injury and he's going to come back? They're just giving him a little bit of a blow. He just had a blow over All-Star weekend, okay? Like a blow. I mean, like the finish line is right there. I mean, so what are they doing with Jordan Poole? I want to see that. Has he been shut down? We shall see. And then Tyrese Maxey, Doc. Oh my God, has he been awful? He left Monday's game with a back injury and did not return. Doc, over the last, let's see here, over the last week, ranks 172nd, okay? 16, 2, and 6 PRA, 1 block, 1 steal, 0.3 threes, 0.3. Nick Nurse says Tyrese Maxey will travel to Minnesota. Hopes he can play. Nurse added that Justin Edwards, Doc's guy, sprained the same left ankle he sprained a few weeks ago. He will also travel tomorrow. Kelly Oubre and Paul George will travel as well. Okay, that is a good sign that those guys are going to play in that game. Paul George playing in both ends of a back-to-back, Doc. I don't think that we're going to see that for the remainder of this year with Philly and the situation they're in. But I do think Paul George will play when he's healthy. And hopefully that continues for another month here up until the end of the year. All right, Doc, let me get a couple of messages out here for the people. I want y'all to go to sportsethos.com and become a member and subscribe, okay? The All Fantasy Pass is amazing. Go there, check out my work on the MLB Draft Guide, my writings, of course, Doc's writings, Aaron Brewski's writings, and great work. It's all out there, man. And go get the app from the App Store. The Sports Ethos app is completely free. We've got blurbs better than anybody else. You know what blurbs are? Little player things, tell you who scored, who's in, who's out. We got that at a very, very high level right now, free for you on the Sports Ethos app. Doc, who do you like against the spread on Tuesday night?
Before we do that, we got a minute to kill here. This Philadelphia situation is very interesting to me. I think that's a situation we should all be watching pretty carefully, right? Maxey's hurt. Was it Maxey's ankle or back? You said back, right?
Yep.
Back. And what did I say about Paul George? He's going to get shut down with either an ankle or a back.
No, those are the growing. Easy. You said a growing or a back.
Growing or back. Sorry. I'm
Southerners say growing. They don't call it groin. They say growing.
Because if you pull a groin or pull something in your back, it's very hard for someone to verify whether or not you're being honest about that. So I think when guys are being shut down, it's usually like, oh, he's got a sore back. He can't play anymore. Philadelphia is 21-39. Joel Embiid is gone. The season is lost. Like they are just cashing it in. Maxey's been terrible. Do you really want to keep running the cornerstone of your franchise out there every night for no reason? I mean, if they're gonna shut Joel Embiid down, and they're may shut Paul George down, is Maxey a possibility to be shut down? I mean, I feel like Maxey's a guy who goes out there and plays every night. Like, he's not a shutdown guy, but I'm just worried that the Sixers are more interested in losing games. And if Maxey keeps playing and gets hot, they may not lose as many games as they want to. So that is another situation that I want to watch carefully and see, who plays tomorrow night, how they play, and whether they're still playing next week. I'm not really that concerned about Maxey. I'm super concerned about George, but it would not shock me if Maxey doesn't finish this thing.
I don't think he'll finish this thing, Doc. I don't. I think Philly's going to get very aggressive about their tank, but it's the timing of it, right? It may be, bam, championship week. We've shut down Maxey like for the last week and a half of the regular season, right? Or the last week, something like that. I don't think we're going to see Maxey shut down for the final month, but I could see. And look, if I'm not mad at teams for rocking that way. You played your guy basically all the way to April, okay? And then you cut off his water with 1 week to go in the regular season. I'm not mad at that, okay? I'm mad at you shut a guy down with 2 months, pardon me, 2 months left in the regular season, 5 weeks left in the regular season. That's the stuff that pisses me off. That's the stuff that creates unwatchable games. All right. ATS, Tuesday night, Doc. Who you got?
I like the Clippers without Norman Powell giving up 2.5 points at Phoenix. Phoenix is toxic. The Bradley Beal thing is weird. The Mike Budenholzer thing, dude. Like, everyone is bombing Coach Bud this year. Like, everybody says he's doing a terrible job. They're not winning. It's not working.
He didn't play ball. So I'll throw him under the bus for ball.
Well, at least he's playing bull now. That's like the only thing he's done.
There might be 8 games over 500, though, if you'd have started bull from the beginning of the year.
Yeah, they might be. And the starting bull is the only good thing he's done this season, according to me. They're 28-33. They're 3.5 games behind Dallas, which means they still have a shot at getting in because the Dallas Mavericks are a free-falling Tom Petty nightmare. And then the Blazers are only a half game behind the Suns. So there's still a battle there to get in the play-in. But I do think that with Kawhi Leonard balling, you talk about another riser. Kawhi Leonard has been nothing but a gentleman and a scholar who is playing every night now suddenly, and he's balling out. And you got James Harden, who I'm convinced is the most inefficient NBA player in the league right now. Like, he just cannot make a shot, and he can't not turn the ball over, but he's still putting up gaudy numbers. And the Clippers are a good team. And I feel like they're right knocking on the door to pass the Golden State Warriors so they wouldn't have to play in the play-in. So I think the Clippers are going to be highly motivated to win games. So I like the Clippers at Phoenix -2.5. I like the Golden State Warriors, who are in the aforementioned playoff race with the Clippers and the Kings and the Wolves. They're getting 4.5 at the New York Knicks. And don't look now, man. The Warriors have been rolling since Brandon Podziemski and Draymond Green both started contributing. So I really like that one the best. The Warriors getting points at New York when they're 8-2 over their last 10 games, and they're killing people. They're blowing people out. And then I also like my mighty Luka Doncic LA Lakers. Luka's been rolling, by the way, bro. I think you may have lost that argument. Luka's balling. Him and LeBron are killing everybody, and then all the other guys are doing the dirty work, except for Austin Reeves. He's also killing people. Lakers -7.5 they're at home. At home against the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Pelicans are 17-44, completely out of it. I can't believe Zion Williamson is still playing basketball, but I feel like the Lakers are just going to run them out of the building. You're muted.
Dang it. I'm on the other side, Doc, of Golden State and New York. I'm on the other side of that one, Burrow. I'm on a back-to-back thing right now.
And that's a good point. That's a good point.
Those are the games that I'm targeting. But it's got to be the right spot, right? Because I'm not like for example, Minnesota's a 12-point favorite against Philadelphia. Okay. I don't like, because I think Paul George might play. I think Kelly Oubre might play. Maxey might not. All right. But like, is that really a full-on back-to-back if Oubre and George play and they got rest the day before? You see what I'm saying? That's like blended to me. What was another one that was similar to that? Like Houston. Okay. Houston rested a bunch of guys on Monday night at OKC, right? Okay. So Tuesday night, Houston's at Indiana. Guess what? They're going to play their guys. So is that really the second of a back-to-back? It's got to like clearly fall into that silo where it's a team, second of a back-to-back, everybody played the night before, all the same guys are going to be relied upon the next night, right? Boom, that's when I fade. I also think, Doc, that Jimmy Butler might not play in this game, okay? He sucked again on Monday night. The honeymoon is over, okay? Next stop, divorce, and that's right. But I like New York in this one, Doc. This is conditional. If Karl Anthony Towns does not play and he's questionable, I believe, with a personal thing, I mean, if he's out, then all bets are off. Okay, I'm not touching that if Cat is out. Okay, it's got to be Golden State is constructed, New York is constructed with Hart, with OG, with Mikal, with Cat, and with Brunson, and then I like the Knicks -4.
All of those.
I don't have. Go ahead. Sorry.
All of those are very good points. And you didn't even talk about, is Steph Curry going to play? Because he sprained his ankle tonight. It's a back-to-back.
Good point.
I could see Steve Kerr resting Steph Curry. Ooh, I've never really tried to say Steph Curry and Steve Kerr back-to-back, but it's kind of tricky. So yeah, I need to know who's playing in all right, let's say this. If I'm going to bet that game, I'm not doing it till about 6:30 p.m. This is not something you want to wake up and mess with at 10 o'clock in the morning. We need to know who's playing in this game.
Bingo. I did not have the cojones to play this one. I had a vibe, and right before we came on, I looked at the number. Okay, I kind of thought that Brooklyn might be a little bit frisky at San Antonio, right? Because it's a Cam Thomas game. Doc, a Cam Thomas game means he's putting 20 on the board, and it means that the Brooklyn Nets are that much more competitive, right? They're actually a functional team when Cam Thomas is in there. You've got Cam Johnson, you've got Claxton, D'Angelo Russell is going to play, okay? But it's 4. I was hoping San Antonio would be an 8, 9, 10-point favorite. Bang, I'll take those points with Brooklyn. I ain't taking 4 points. No, I think San Antonio could cover that. With my boy Stephon Castle playing the way he's playing right now. So, I don't know. Do you have the balls to play Brooklyn +4? I don't.
No, because, I mean, you just don't know which San Antonio you're going to get. You don't know which Brooklyn you're going to get. And you and I have talked about it all year, man. Those Brooklyn box scores, they will hurt your head. If you're going to mess with that, you need a bottle of Tylenol close by.
Maybe something stronger. All right. Do you have any props, Dr. A? Do you have any props for Tuesday night?
Why did I switch my page? That Lakers game. Where did they go? Playing the Pelicans, man. Pelicans are terrible. Luka's going to be at home in front of his LA fan base now, which he's totally been adopted by. No surprise. He loves them. They love him. And he likes playing quarterback for that team. I could see a triple-double coming from Luka. I would. And the odds on betting a guy to get a triple-double it pays money. It's good odds. So I like Luka to get a triple double. If Paul George is out again, which I would kind of be surprised if he's not, I like Quentin Grimes to go over. He'll probably be at like 14 and a half, 15 and a half, somewhere in there. So I like Grimes over. And then Trae Young playing against Damian Lillard and the defenseless Milwaukee Bucks. It should be a field day for Trae. Hawks coming off a big win on Monday. Thank you, Dyson Daniels. I like Trae Young to hit over. He'll be like 24 and a half, somewhere in there.
All right, dude. Those are Doc's props. Ricky Props is now in here, Doc. I want to give you the Jalen Brunson point prop over. And I just went to DraftKings. It's not out yet.
Shocker.
You guys. I know, because Cat is questionable and you could. Oh my God, it's annoying. Anyway, I don't have the number for you right now. Let me give you some math. I'm going over, Doc, 27 and a half and below. Okay. 26 and a half, 27 and a half. Because I think Jalen Brunson is, oh man, I'm conflicted on this because this may be, Doc, this may be one of those things that, like, if Jimmy Butler doesn't play and Steph Curry doesn't play, and then they go ahead and decide to, let's pull Draymond Green out and just forfeit a game because Steve Kerr loves to do that from time to time, then I don't want to go the point over on Jalen Brunson because it's going to be a damn blowout, right? But, like, if Golden State plays this straight, it's Steph at the frickin' Garden, okay, one time a year. Then I like Brunson because he's going to be like, Steph, you're not going to come into my house and steal the show, right? That's how Brunson's wired. He's a dog that way. Like, screw you, buddy. I know everybody loves to watch you hit threes, but this is my house, bro. So on that tip, I like the Brunson point prop over. It's conditional based on who's available for the game. Stephon Castle does not have a prop bet up yet on DraftKings. He is questionable with like some minor thing. I believe he's going to play. I gave you the stats on him earlier. When he gets 30 plus minutes, 8 of the last 9 is at 20 plus points. I want to play the point over on Stephon Castle badly, but I don't have a number for you right now. And there's no way the Vegas number is even close to 20. He averages like 15, 14, 15 on the year. All right. 16 and a half, I'm playing the over. 17 and a half, I'm playing the over. 18 and a half, I may have a double middle finger salute to Vegas and move on with my life. James Harden. I like the point prop over on James Harden, Doc. Trae Young messed me up on Monday night because one of my premises is the principle of do, right? When a great player is in a rut, like Trae Young was going into Monday night against Memphis, I play the point prop over. I didn't even come close. Trae Young sucked on Monday night. He had 12 damn points. 12! James Harden I'm playing that card with James Harden because that card's been very, very good to me, okay? A lot like the career game theory, the career year theory, the back-to-back theory. These things have just paid off. James Harden, Doc, let me give you these numbers. Over the last 2 games, he has 31 points on 9 of 36. You mentioned he's probably the most inefficient player in the NBA. 31 points total on 9 of 36. My God, is that bad? He is super, super due for a breakout game, and it's Phoenix. It's Phoenix. And then, Doc, I give you your guy, Naz Reid. Because Naz Reid, another angle that I love, and you know this, Doc, I love the bounce back factor. When a guy has a shitty game, and he's going to pull out of it the next game. Like a guy like Naz Reid. Guys, go look at Naz Reid's game log, okay? He had like 5 points in the last game. I think I got it written down here. Was it 5?
When Julius Randle was back.
When Julius Randle came back, Naz Reid sucked. It was, sorry, I need the light here. Do I have the number? I don't even have the number. He had a terrible game, okay? He was 20 plus points in 6 of the previous 7. So Naz Reid is rolling. He had one bad game. I tell you guys all the time, when a heavy hitter comes back like Randall, it throws everybody off of that first game. It does. Time and time again, it happens like that. Okay, it happened. Naz Reid's going to get back up on the horse here, Doc. It's a home game against Philly, who absolutely sucks. And Naz Reid is going to go over his point prop over in this game. So I like the Brunson point prop over. Stephon Castle, if he plays. James Harden and Naz Reid. Those are your Ricky props for Tuesday
Ricky
nights.
props. Ricky props. I'm going to read off James Harden's shooting lines starting with January 31st. 4 of 12, 7 of 20, 2 of 12, 7 of 14. Hey, thanks, James. 7 of 18, 6 of 18, 8 of 19, 8 of 21, 9 of 17. That was good. And then his last 3, 5 of 22. Or no, this is not his last 3. His last 4. 5 of 22, 9 of 20, 5 of 22, 4 of 14. And dude, I've got Harden as the anchor of a few teams, including my 30 deep team. So I know James Harden well this season, and it's this same thing every single night. Like tomorrow, he'll be like 7 of 22, but he also shoots more free throws than any human alive, so he can still salvage a good scoring night at the free throw line if his shot's not falling, and it never does. So, but man, if we ever do get an efficient James Harden game, he's going to go off. And you're right, he's been shooting it poorly enough lately. He's due to have a good game, and maybe it's going to happen on Tuesday night.
All right, Doc. Anything you want to tell the people before we get out of here? We've given them the goodies. They're fully prepped for Tuesday night. Anything? Any final words here?
Ricky props. I went to that REM tribute show in Athens on Friday night and got to meet the band. Had them sign a painting that my grandfather was painting when he died in 1991. It was the last painting on his easel. Was an REM shirt that I had given him and said, "Hey, will you paint this for me?" It's a monkey riding a bicycle, and it's unfinished. It's only halfway finished. I took it with me, gave it to my buddy, the tour manager. He kept it backstage, and then after the show, REM actually got on stage together and played a song, all 4 of them. First time they've done that in like 15 years. And then after that, they all signed this painting, and the colors and the ink and all of it. Dude, this thing looks like it belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's the most beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing. Maybe I'll bring it as a prop for Ricky props next show.
I would. So that was exciting, dude.
It was exciting.
That's absolutely. Dude, you have me a rock and roll, Doc. I mean, and the life or death aspect of that. You said your grandpa, right?
Yep. And I told those guys the story, and Bill Berry, I thought he was going to start crying. He's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Dude, it's okay. It was like in 1990. It was a million years ago, but this unfinished painting's been hanging on my wall, for 30 years. And then these guys all signed it, and it's a beautiful thing."
So their signatures have taken up basically the unpainted portion of the canvas, right?
Yeah.
That is so cool. That is so cool, dude. I love that, man. I love that. Doc,
that's all I got.
Man, God bless your grandpa up in heaven. He's looking down smiling, man. His painting is finally finished after all these years, dude. Finished off by REM themselves. That's an amazing story.
His painting is finally finished. That is awesome. Yep.
That is literally phenomenal. Guys, we are out. We wish you luck on Tuesday night, all right, with all of your investment decisions. Remember, if you're doing it the smart way, the Cam and Doc way, they're not bets, they are investments, all right? Couple of things before we leave. Subscribe to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast if you enjoy our work. Please leave us a 5-star review. And subscribe to the Sports Ethos YouTube channel and give the video a thumbs up. go to sportsethos.com, subscribe to our work over there, sign up for our packages, and you'll get all the best fantasy information that there is on planet Earth. And download the app. It's completely free. The Sports Ethos app at your favorite app store. For Andre LeBouche, for Hall of Famer Steve Alexander, and all of you, we love you. I am Rick Kamla. Go get him on Tuesday night. We will see you very, very soon here. This episode's been brought to you by Bet Online.